أعوذ بالله من الشيطان الرجيم بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم. The Assistant Inspector General of Police, responsible for crime management, Alaji Demaso, the General in charge of police operations countrywide, Mr. Pate Jallo, the Commissioner responsible for legal, Gambia Police Force, Abdullah Sane, Commissioner responsible for forensics, Pakeba Dabo, Deputy Commissioner of Police, Anti-Crime Unit, So, Deputy Commissioner of Police, under the Crime Management Pillar, Mr. Boto Keta, my personal assistant, DCP Boja, DCP Ba, in charge of human resources, officers and men of this fine institution, Gambia Police Force, members of the Fourth Estate, that's the press. I say a very good morning to all of you. We are gathered here today. It's not a gathering that we are pleased with on the other side, but the other way around, it's a gathering that is equally very important. Important in the sense that recent happenings in the country leaves much to be desired. The general public were threatened. Life and properties were equally threatened. Robbery cases in the increase. The spike was attributed to a lot of factors, and some of these factors included, but not limited to, the inability of Gambia Police Force, the ineptitude, as some will put it, of Gambia Police Force to be able to effectively and adequately police this nation. We take responsibility. We don't shy away from our statutory responsibility, but we equally know all efforts are put in place to ensure crime is minimized, and the support that we are getting also from the executive, more especially in their own small way, is appreciated. I will take you through by sequence incidents of armed robbery that has been happening in this country, not only recently, but dated way back 2014, when some robbery cases were reported by the police, by the civilian, of course, to the police or the affected institutions. But today we are able to link some of these suspects to those robberies that occurred well before the advent of the new dispensation. And to start with, in 2014, Guarantee Trust Bank at Bakau was robbed, and the principal suspect in that robbery case is called Wan Ansumana, otherwise known as Ansu Jaju, resident of New Joshua in Serekunda. He was arrested, sent to the remand wing, and when he started appearing before the courts, he jumped bail and then disappeared in the thin air and nowhere to be seen. Again, on the 4th of September 2022, a case of robbery was reported which happened around Senegambia area. The owner of the business, the proprietor, gave some money, a lot of money, to this same suspect, Ansumana Jaju, otherwise known as Ansu, to go and pay some of his workers. He left with this money, abandoned the car, where some items were recovered, including his own national identity card. This time around also, he was able to evade arrest and also move to a nearby country where intermittently he will appear briefly in the Gambia, conduct his operations with his accomplices, and then go back to that same location or destination. Most of the time, Ansu built up friendship with one Loseni Jabate, Ivorian national. They were all remanded at Mile 2 Central Prisons, and this was where they built up relationship. And subsequent to their disappearance, their escape, they teamed up together and they started conducting their operations. On the 29th June 2021, this same Ansu, whose boss was called Momar Tal, operating as Eman Trading, he robbed this business premises and equally got successful and vanished again into thin air. On the 1st of January, New Year's Day, store breaking and stealing. This was reported by one Ahmed Said Mohammed, a 32-year Mauritanian national, a businessman residing in Old Josma, operating as Gamfood Complex at Denton Bridge, where he kept his goods and money. The same people went there, tied up the watchman, the night watchman, forcefully opened the back door, and then opened the safe where monies were kept. The undermentioned suspects shared the money, which totals to $400,000. Ansu Mana, Ansu Jaju, Loseni Jabate, and Abdoulaye Jallo. The booty was $400,000. Each got $100,000 as their share, and the balance of $100,000 was kept and later utilized to procure arms and ammunition from a sister republic, which they later started using as means of their weapon to conduct these nefarious activities. Wednesday, 22nd January 2025. I'm sure by now everybody here in this hall will agree with me that we have all seen the CCTV footages of the alleged robbery which was conducted at Access Bank in Bijilo. 3 of them, driven by a taxi driver, went to the bank, as I mentioned during my appearance at GRTS on that fateful day, conducted their operations using these same weapons that they were able to procure. The suspects are no other person but the same Ansu Mana, Ansu Jaju, Loseni Jabate, Abdoulaye Jallo, and one Omar Seka. This time also, they jointly shared the money and each of them was able to get $400,000. After that robbery, considering themselves as successful, now they become emboldened, and in a rare and brazen attack, they strategized and also went to attack a Mauritanian shop operated by Al-Hela Enterprise, located along Hagan Street in Banjul. But prior to this operation, they jointly contributed money and bought a BMW ash column, which they used in that operation. Here, I want to state that by the time of their operations, the vehicle was unnumbered. But when we check in the system with the company that are responsible for printing number plates, we realize that actually the vehicle was numbered, it was registered, and the number plate was legally given to them. But as we all know how criminals and criminal elements operate, they remove this, conduct their operations, and instantly fixed the number plate again. The cost of that BMW was $150,000. At the Al-Hela shop, $1,245,000 was taken, and then CFA denominations $1,650,000. That was the money they got from the operations at Al-Hela. Again, the suspects, Leseni Jabate, Abdoulaye Diallo. Jabate's share was $377,250,000 with $465,000 CFA. Mr. Diallo Abdoulaye got $222,000, $770,000 CFA. That operation, initially, they tried to trick investigators by saying, actually, there were 3 in number. On the whole, it was only the 2 of them. But as investigations expanded, we were able to confirm with certainty, and which was also confessed by themselves, that actually it was the 2 of them only. Now, coming back to Mr. Jaju Ansu, after the operations at Access Bank, he fled to Guinea-Bissau. Investigators from the Crime Management Pillar, jointly with our colleagues, elements of the anti-crime unit, were able to re-strategize, see the best possible way to be able to track these people. By way of investigations, I cannot delve deep into matters or areas or intelligence that were done for us to be able to track him all the way to Bissau. In security, there is what we call NTK, otherwise known as Need to Know. With due respect to my media colleagues, I don't want to go too much into that, and I believe I will get your understanding on this. Now, moving forward, when our colleagues will get to Guinea-Bissau, we link them with the authorities there. And somebody who is very close to him was apprehended, who was shown these CCTV footages, where instantly he confirmed to them, yes, this is the man, I know him, he is called Mr. Ansumana Jaju. Investigations did not relent. With the support and collaboration of our Bissau colleagues, we were able to locate him and he was subsequently arrested. When he was arrested initially, as hardened criminals we all know them to be, he tried to be stubborn, he tried to be recalcitrant, he never wanted to own up to his crime. But then when questioning were intense, we started cracking holes, gaps started emerging, and then he subsequently agreed and confessed to the crimes that was committed. And personally here, I want to thank His Excellency, the Ambassador of Guinea-Bissau to the Gambia, Mr. Luis. I want to thank my Bissau counterpart, the Inspector General of Police. And I equally want to thank Dr. Domingos, who is in charge of the Judiciary Police, where Interpol falls under. They did a phenomenal job for us by cooperating with us, and eventually Ansu was extradited, escorted by the 4 officers from anti-crime to the Gambia. Now, as fate will have it, on the same day, when Ansu was being transported from Bissau, there was a sting operation that we conducted in Banjul the very day the El Hela incident happened. Gambia police officers were able, with reinforcement from our various units and with intelligence-led gathering or intelligence-led policing, we were able to flag and see a BMW who looks very similar to the one that was used during the operations, but this time around with a number plate. Now, surveillance was mounted. Then there was ambush at various locations in and outside Banjul, which led to the arrest of a driver, a mechanic, and later Mr. Luseni Jabate. The following day was when we were successful in getting Mr. Abdoulaye Jallo, and when all of them were shown the CCTV footages at Access Bank, they immediately accepted that that same robbery was equally conducted by them. In fact, Ansu was the one with a white shirt. All right, before I forgot, the shirts, the dress they wore during the Access Bank operation, we were able to retrieve those same dresses at his residence in Guinea-Bissau, which is also with us here, and certainly prosecutors will use it as an evidence. For Mr. Jabate Luseni, he categorically told us that he was the one who wore the white kaftan during that operation. Abdoulaye was the one wearing the jogging when they were operationalizing that act at Access Bank. Investigators did not relent. They want to dig in further to ensure all the perpetrators of this heinous act are brought to book. When they mention and confess to the participation of a taxi driver, we were on his trail. By dint of luck and hard work, he was equally arrested yesterday and is safe in our custody. String of successes. There was a robbery case that was also reported at Farato. I'm sad to say this because the person's name is Hussein Ture and you all know I'm Ture. This is the guy who operated that shop and carted away a lot of expensive goods. When we get wind of his appearance elsewhere around this neighborhood, officers were on his trail, and eventually he was also arrested. And when the CCTV footages were shown to him, he admitted guilt and accepted that he solely and entirely operated that operation alone. Mr. Ture is equally with us here, And I think moving from here, this is where my updates will stop. But let me make one emphasis. We have been saying this time without number, but then it's like adherence to this, I will not call it an appeal, but directives which is supported by our existing laws, but people are not abiding by it. Perhaps I will accept the enforcement aspect of it from us, the Gambia Police Force. It's a little bit lacking. But from here today, Wednesday, the 12th of January, any driver, any commuter who wants to enjoy the comfort of your vehicle without discomforting innocent children that are supposed to be transported to and from school, please make sure you have your number plates fixed on your cars or your vehicles. Failure to do this, the car will be impounded and there will be heavy fine on the spot before you can get back your vehicle. It's now not an appeal, but it's a warning. And our expectations as policing elements of this country is to be supported by all and sundry. More especially members of the security fraternity, because usually we are the very ones on this particular matter that I'm talking here, we are the very ones who abuse this. You have your number fixed in front of the car, but at the rear you deliberately remove it with a simple pretext or excuse to say it's damaged or broken. This will not be accepted any longer, and stern instructions have been given to officers of the mobile traffic unit to ensure these directives from the Inspector General of Police is implemented to the letter. There is no good thing that somebody does, or there is no person who will be walking and not be committing mistakes, even though we agree mistakes are inevitable, but nobody wants to be committing mistakes in the due execution of your duties. I am saying this simply because it's not an offense, and we are not picking any offense in it. But since the spike of these robbery cases, Gambia Police Force has been maligned, we have been ridiculed, we have been sent to tatters, and all sorts of things were said on us. We accept this in good faith, and we are not apportioning blame on anybody, because that's what we signed for. If we know we are unable to protect the life and properties of this nation, let me be on record, I, Sidi Mukhtar Toure, will be the first person to tender my resignation to the executive to say I have failed in my duties and I am relieving myself of my responsibility. Even though we don't pray for this. But then also, if certain issues or incidents happen, I think police needs to be given time. We need to be supported in terms of information gathering. We need to be supported in terms of logistics, which is coming, though not adequate, we must accept. And I think, we should all see the best possible way. The first robbery case that I mentioned here actually happened which year? 2014, right? 2014. That was way before 2016, 2017. And some of us who are the elderly ones now, advanced age, I will say, we have seen during the previous dispensation, the previous regime, the Central Bank of the Gambia, perhaps you the younger ones may not be able to remember this, but the Central Bank was also attacked by armed men. And this was during the time of former President Yahya Jammeh. Now let's check and consider the proximity of Central Bank and the State House of the Gambia. If you start walking, you will not walk 5 minutes, you are at the State House. And now we are forgetting all that. Every blame, every ridicule, every malignment, every antagonization is on us. But once again, we want to thank you for your support. And we encourage the general public to be sharing information with us. There is one particular case that I forgot to mention. If you can recall, on this fateful day of 22nd January, immediately after the Access Bank incident, it was reported that there was also an armed robbery at Kunkuyan Ketaya. Can you remember this? Very well. And an amount of 77,000 plus was what they took away from the guy operating the financial institution. That's the Western Union, or any name you may wish to call it. What our investigation revealed, with evidences, concrete evidences for that matter, he claimed that it was 3 men, the same description with Ansu, Loseni, and Mr. Jal, that it was with the same vehicle that attacked him at his motor shop. We were able to confirm this with certainty, that this was staged. It's a matter of seeing the Access Bank robbery in the internet. Somebody also decided to take chance, capitalize on it, and stage this by himself. Today, he is even appealing to the police that he wants to pay this money so that no further action will be taken. Well, what I can say, I'm very sorry for him. We would not do this, because that even aggravated the same problem that we were faced with after the Access Bank incident. Once again, we appreciate your appearance, calling you on a very short notice. I believe majority of the media houses are here present. When you go back to your principals, extend our gratitude to them for responding to our call within this short period of time. I appreciate your kind attention. Long live the Gambia. Thank you very much.
Very much, Piaro, and good afternoon to the IEP and members of the press here present. I think it's difficult to say anything after the excellent presentation by the Inspector General of Police. However, I just want to make a clarification on the recoveries that were made in regards to the El Hela robbery. The money you're seeing before you was money that was recovered. The figure that was stated by the complainants remains to be the same, that is $1,250,000 is $1,650,000 CFA. However, the suspects declined to state how much each had from this money. So what is presented before you is recoveries that were made from them, not actually their shares, because they declined to state how much each of the two had from these amounts that were stolen from the recovery. Also, as you see before you, the implements that you are seeing before you are linked to the respective break-ins and robberies that happen as alluded by the IGP. That is at Denton Bridge, Carmelo, and Banjul itself, and that is the pistols that you are seeing. Those were pistols that were used during the robbery that happened at El Hela. It is also important to note that early 2024, there was a robbery at a bank in Banjul called Vista Bank. And in that robbery, trails were made. One of the suspects, of course, fled to Senegal. And one of them is Ousseynou Touré. That is the one that was apprehended this morning. Ousseynou Touré was part of that robbery, and a file was built, and as we speak, he is going to court. In fact, he also jumped bail, so he was in hiding. God was on our side. On the 22nd of January, he was also involved in a breaking case at Farato. And this breaking case is what led to his arrest last night. So he is into breaking and robbery. So the people that we have, the four, are for now our main suspects in most of the robberies and breakings. And I want to believe this should be able to allay the fears of Gambians and non-Gambians, particularly investors, that yes, individual can go ahead in their criminal acts, but the police can assure you that there is no hiding place, being it in the Gambia or outside the Gambia. That's my clarification. Thank you.
As the principles of investigation goes by, we are facilitators of investigators in various investigations, and usually we deal with materials that are of forensic interest. Actually, summarily, this investigation was wide, but in sequence, it starts from there. However, from here, these were the dresses people who stored in the various CCTVs, the military jacket, sort of the camouflage, the car, and so these are where dresses that were worn by them, and they were recovered during their arrest. You can remember in the CCTV, you would have seen the military jacket on somebody at Access Bank and also the so these dresses were recovered from them when they were arrested. That's why they are here. This is significant. So for the monies, when Ousseynou was arrested, directly himself or where he entrusted some of the money, 198,000 was recovered from him in Dallas. However, some portion of the safe also from him. 710,000 was recovered from him. These are proceeds from LHL. And again, from Apply, from Ousseynou, 377,250 was recovered from Ousseynou, and Apply 222,000, and a total of 599,000 was from the proceeds of LHL. So, next is the Access Bank. All of them did mention the amounts that were recovered, that were their shares. However, from the driver that was recently arrested, he was given 290,000, and exactly the same amount was recovered from the taxi driver, $290,000. These two knives are equipment that were recovered from the same amount of the knives. And this is why they are for the guns. From the guns, these are two guns that they use at both the LHL and the Access Bank. And according to them, as a result of the breaking that they did in food shop, that's the Kamalo, that's the proceed they bought the guns for. And from which on, they started using them, and in the major two places, and that is the Kamalo and Access Bank. From the onset, according to them, they had no weapons. These were cutlasses that they used at the Camaro break. From the Camaro break, the proceeds they bought the guns. From the proceeds of the guns, they did the Access Bank. And from Access Bank proceeds, they bought the BMW. And the same BMW is what they used at the LHL. And from sequence, you can see, this was the first breaking they committed. This was identity. They were able to break the safe, but could not access the money. So they had no money there. And their next target was the Down Food, from Down Food to Access Bank, and from Access Bank to Head. The subsequent cases my boss was mentioning about Vista. One of the Senegalese national called Masnia was the principal. His accomplice was Ousseynou. Ousseynou was arrested and prepared before the court. He absconded bail and was spotted on the CCTV at Farabu Breaking, where he was successfully arrested by the crime management team. So currently he is also part of the suspects that are here. We hope that with the arrest of these major people, crime may be minimized, if not eradicated. Thank you.
I would want to now throw the baton to our colleagues, the media, whose day is today. So we will start. Please, anyone who wants to ask a question, you would come forward here. Let's have an opening there so that everybody can hear the question. You can ask the question.
I said to from Gambia Talents TV. During your speech, I'm not sure if you highlighted some of the key things, which are some of the weapons that we are using, most especially that one. If it is loaded with live rounds, that is one. Two, if also the Gambia Police Force as an institution is looking into ways of collaborating with other sister securities in terms of some of their operations as well. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Thank you. The answer to your first question is to fake guns. That can only happen when we get the ballistic examination reports are available to us with concrete findings. On this, it's a question related to Mr. Jallo's question. The general security of the nation, I believe, we have given all assurances to this. And I also mentioned that, all security institutions in this country assisting the Gambia Police Force. I even mentioned in the budgetary support we got from the Minister of Finance as it relates to this exercise. This is ongoing, and Brikama, Banjul, Serakunda, and even Banjul, these things are going more especially during the weekends. Thank you. Next question, please.
My name is Minsane. My question is, in your statement you made where the possibility to become friends and be doing such activities. Is that not a concern to the security for us to look at ways that we confine things like they recruit themselves from our central prisons to come out and do such activities? Don't you think it's high time for us to look at ways to confine these prisons? The reference here is the history of ISIS. The founder of ISIS started living in his fighters from the central prison, and that is so fair. That's my question.
Thank you very much. Thank you. I think, I will wholly and entirely agree with you that we need to have a relook on some of these hardened criminals that are arrested and subsequently taken to the courts. Just before we walk into this hall, myself, the CMC, the operations general, and the rest of the team members, we were having this discussion in the office. And I'm not obliged to reveal what measures we are coming in place. Of course, this needs the collaboration of the Gambia Prison Services, and I personally will engage the Director General as it relates to this concern. I can assure you your concerns are well-founded, and we will put in measures to mitigate any further occurrences of such. Thank you.
You can speak, because the mic is not good.
Okay, security reform contributed to the successful arrest of this one.
Well, Nelson earlier indicated the collaboration of Bissau authorities, starting from their diplomatic representative in the country here, Ambassador Luis, together with the Inspector General of Police and the head of the judiciary. I think I earlier mentioned this during my deliberation. So that goes to show the way and manner they collaborated with us to get this, suspected criminal to be extradited back to the Gambia. So that satisfies your concern about the regional participation in this politics. Thank you.
Yes, sir.
askan wi di laaj jëmee ko ci alkaati yi muy police ci lu jëm ci ne nemmeeku ne lu jëm ci sàmbalu bi jëf yu ñaaw yi nga xam ne ñu koy jëf ci réew mi jamono ji dafa gën a takkarnaasi maanaam dafa gën a takk ñu jàpp ne ndax foofu tamit demee dafa taw gis ne xëy na alkaati yi lu wax ne ñàkk mën ko def waaye xëy na jumtukaay yi gën a war pour ñoom nekkul ci ñoom maanaam comme ni ko ñeneen ñi waxee ci wàllu équipement ndax dañ gisoon nañ fi fukki fan ak ñaar ci weeru septembre ci atum 2023 amoon lu leen xewoon ci sukuta jàmm trafic light ba amoon ñaari police yoo xam ne ñàkkoon nañ ci seen bakkan ci lu mel noonu ñu bëri jàpp ne nag ci foofee la police yi war na gën a jëlee li nga xam ne mooy ay jumtukaay ngir fexe nan la ñuy saafara ngir police yi tamit wala alkaati yi mën di ngemb maanaam ñu équipe leen ñu ko mën di mbir yu mel ndax léeg-léeg am roba si muy jublankat yi lu ñuy def du nekk loo xam ne dafay fekk ñu pare ndax léeg-léeg di nga gis alkaati boo xam ne yorul benn gànnaay léegi tey bu fekkee gis na ci lu mel noonu ma jël si waaw dama mën a waru may rek dem tëj ko am solo léegi kon lii laaj bi yëpp daal mooy ndax yéen pare ngeen pour ngemb alkaati yi ngir su ko defee lu bu war a xewaat ñoom ñu mën a jàmmaarloo jublankat yooyu
nga ne naka nga sant Mbaye waaw loolu bettut ma I'll go into that. Jërëjëf si sa laajte bi laajte bu am solo la affaire yi ñaawteef mboolem ñu ko def si dëkk bi fu naa bi ma demoon si télévision bi sax waxoon naa lii mooy 99 days for the thief 1 day for the master fu naa ndaje bii nii loolu la gën a dooleel parce que lii bi mu xewee ñu ñëpp réeréewuñ mbir ne wax ji bari woon na torop waaye moo tax ñu ne Olof Njaay dafa ne jën su moo yaaxu ci caaxooj bi la dee doore ndaadu soo loolu yëpp mën lañ ko jiiñ te nangu na waaye comme lu ñu indi fii tey loolu dafa firnde ne police yi ñu ngi def seen liggéey dinaa nangoo yow ci li nga wax ci affaire yi jumtuwaay dëgg la nguur gi ñu ngi def seen kentulaay kattaan pour jàppale ñu ci loolu fona last year rek joxoon nañu almost juróom-ñeneenti moto waaye moto yooyu noonu li ñu njëkk a def rek mooy région bu nekk commissioner bu fa nekk def jox nañ la benn daal fi ñu nekk nii anti crime headquarters ñoom tam am nañ benn so noonu lañ tasaaree moto yooyu noonu ak suñ partenaires yi tamit nu ñu ñëw supporté waaye da ngaa gis ne soo cegee democratic policing or modernized way of policing police station bu nekk si dëkk bi fii war naa mun a am own moto mboolem police boo gis war naa mun a gàccoo jumtuwaay mu nga xam ne saa yoo gisee sa boppa si situation bu nga xam ne naka su dul noonu la war nga ko mun a saafara dëgg la ñu ngi try waaye yaakaar nañ ne tamit yaaga dinañ fa àggi waaw waaye il faut ñu ndànka parce que ñu ñëpp xam nañ ne Gambia tamit third world country la there are competing priorities mooy nguur gi lu bëri war na koo mun a def te mu ngi koo def tamit léegi police yi nag is part of those priorities so su fekkee gars yi ñoo dimbale tuuti war nañoo mun a wone mbégte ak kontaante si loolu jërëjëf.
Yes. My name is James from the Point Museum. I must thank the police and the security forces for their swift response in relation to the in-time response to the arrest of these suspects. My question is relating to the two guns that was purchased from one of the first breakthroughs that they did and come out. Were you able to, during your interrogation, were you able to ascertain from them where they procured these guns and how, if they procured outside, how were they able to smuggle it into the country?
Thank you very much for your question. But I want to be a bit economical with the answer. I agree with you. Yes, they were procured elsewhere, not in the country here. And the way and manner he managed to elude security operatives at the border to get these things inside the country, we will leave that one as it is. I have the answer, but I'm sorry I can't provide it. Thank you.
TV. li may laajte mooy gis neen rob yi xew nii yëpp dañ gis ne place yi ñu amee gisuñu ko yoree ngàndaay maanaam ku yoree fetal wala jaasi toog ci bunte bi di garder place boobu noonu ndax police yi dinañ lëkkaloo ak ñi yore business yu mag yi pour ñu gis ne que seen alal dina leen mën a sàmm ndax bokk na ci seen liggéey mooy sàmm nit ñi ak seenu alal.
a defee su ko defee every major bank because fii ci dëkk bi fii fukki bank ak ñaar fukki ak ñaar banks lañ fi am ci dëkk bi fii léegi seen outlets yi tamit they are all the way spread across the country léegi lu ñoo mën a waaye foofu noonu tamit somehow ñu ngi am security foofu ko suñ gaay paramilitary deployment yu nekk ci region bi ñu ngi cover those areas waaye ñu ngi waxtaan ak ñoom pour seet naka la ñoo mën a saafara loolu te su fekkee mbaxana doon na benn dinañ war a mën a am deployment ci any of these major banks in the country waaye dafa am sarta yu nga xam ne jéego yu nga xam ne war nañ ko mën a jël balaa ñoo àgga foofu te suñ fa àggee tam ñoom tam dafa am li leen war il faut gars yi def loolu pour ñu mën a support police bi waaye xëj na ci kanam tuuti rek du yàgga di nga gis those things happening jërëjëf taw
Commissioner Sane, the Commissioner of Prosecution and Legal Affairs. Before I answer your question, somebody just asked a question which has to do with whether police are compromising with cases. I will try my best to answer that question. Police will never compromise a case. These are serious offenses. And these serious offenses are called robbery with violence. And the punishment, according to section 99, sub 1 of the Criminal Procedure Code, the punishment is life imprisonment. And where somebody is charged with that offense of punishment that attracts life imprisonment, the offense is not bailable. You will not be granted bail in the court. But however, Anzu was arrested in 2014, 2021. Evidence has shown that Anzu was taken to court. But what happens at the court is not the control of the police. How Anzu was released is not the control of the police. We have no control when matters are before the court. In fact, these capital offenses are not prosecuted by the police legal team. It's been taken to court. Hello? Yes, it's been taken to court, and the Ministry of Justice, AG chambers are the one who prosecute those cases because they are regarded as capital offenses. So the charges here that you ask, now your question is, what would be the charges? One of the charges there I can tell you is robbery. Robbery with violence, section 293. We have 292, we have 293. But where at least weapon has been used, it is known as robbery with violence. And other offenses like conspiracy, because you can see it's more than one person. When two or more people come together with a common purpose to commit an offense, the charge there is, one is conspiracy to commit an offense, and the second one is robbery. The third one is breaking into a building with intent to commit felony, theft, different counts are there. But the one that attracts life in punishment, it is robbery. It is robbery with violence. Thank you. You can only ask me legal questions. Emergency number, yes. I know when I was the officer commanding at Carnifing region, we have this emergency number where people will call if there is a crime or so. But these emergency numbers are being misused by the public. People will call and abuse the police. They will call and say, police officers, and they even call and insult us. So that's why that emergency number is being abused by us. So if we have that emergency number, we should be so responsible to make sure that these emergency numbers are utilized based on the reason why it is given to us. If you go to Europe, you go to America, you go to England, emergency numbers are there, but people don't misuse the emergency numbers. Even the fire service, people have made a people will call the fire service, there is fire somewhere, and when there is no fire. So, and they'll even insult us. So everybody, as IGP said, everybody must be responsible in this country to make sure that we all own this country. We don't expect other people to come and, police this country. It belongs to all of us. Thank you.
Thank you very much.
Thank you very much.
Thank you. Yes, what I said is informed by facts that are before you, and the policy, the approach of the Gambia Police Force as we speak, this democratic dispensation is intelligence-led policy. That, to me, would mean that the police have to be proactive, and that is how we would be able to generate the intelligence to ensure that things or crime didn't happen. But the police have these functions. Key among them is the prevention. Where you are not able to prevent, you should be able to detect. So the intelligence part of our policing endeavor is actually being enhanced, and a lot of engagements are undertaken through even our bilateral and multilateral partners to enhance the abilities of the intelligence component of the Gambia Police Force. And that to understand who is to support the operational regions, because these are the people that should be out and about to be seen in the streets. So the intelligence part, we are doing our utmost best to make sure that we are able to prevent. But where we fail to prevent, we should be able to detect. And the evidence today is about detection. Thank you.
Just add, because my question is not answered. I know that you are ending your efforts to prevent, but my question is, you had it already, based on you have that capacity to prevent crime by checking for the action.
Capacity is never enough. Yes, we have, but there are always gaps. And I would prevail on whoever is interested in partnering with the police. We are open to work with the individuals. But like I said, for now, yes, what we have, we are working with it. And obviously, it's never enough. Knowledge is always out there. So whatever you do to get it, is our responsibility. So thank you. Like I said, the intelligence, the capacity, yes, we have capacity, but not to the extent of we don't need more. So that opening is still there. Thank you.